Today's subject is about opposites, law of opposites. I've stopped here because there's so many ways you can describe it. There's so many names to it. It could be law of polarity, law of duality, yin-yang, theory of virtue and vice. So many ways to describe actually the same phenomena. So the phenomena says that there's light and darkness in you. There is inclination to do good and do evil. So this duality in you sometimes is also called shadow work in psychology, especially psychotherapy. So in the very heart of any pain, any confusion, any despair that you might find yourself in your life, your job is to recognize that this ambiguity of you experiencing life, but sometimes even life itself, is also designed by forces stronger than you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the world. It's just the way it is. That's why it's called the healing law of polarity or law of opposites. And what is required from us is to understand where it's coming from, why is it working that way, and I think the most difficult part is to integrate that ugly and that good, that light and that dark parts of us. Not everyone is ready for that job, but I promise you, the moment you start contemplating on yourself, the moment you bypass the idea that you're scared of yourself, there is just a huge road, a motorway of opportunities, and to help you, in order to help you to get there, is to accept the fact that everything is dual, right? So things that appear to be opposites are actually two inseparable parts of the same thing. In a sense, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum of choices, okay? So where is it coming from in Quran? Where is it coming from Sunnah? Where is it coming from in Islamic healing? So Quran mentions on many occasions that we as humans, we are created as the superior beings, but also we are not flawless. So in Surah 4, verse 6, we learn that, surely we have created man in the best of modes. Then we render him to lowest of the low, except those who believe and do well, so that they shall have self-perpetuating reward. What does it mean? And many scholars, they explain that in their own ways. I particularly like Imam Ali Talib, who says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he created angels and he gave them intellect without desires. And then he subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the animals desires without an intellect. And then eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave both to humans. So we have desires and we have intellect. We have drives and we have intellect. So man whose intellect prevails, his desire is better than the angels, while a man whose desires prevail over his animalistic drives, he was actually an animal. And that is in the words of Imam Ali Talib. So we can be higher than the angels and lower than animals. That's our nature. And there's plenty evidence about man's having angelic or animalistic nature. In Arabic, it's called malakuti or bahim nature. It is just a case of us being trapped in between. It's just the way it's designed for us. It's a platform for us to prove ourselves, just like Imam Talib said. If you know your drives, if you know your desires, if you know where you're failing as a adab or as akhlaq, then your job is to work on it. Islam also talks about duality of things which are inner and which are outer. So there are inner metaphysical things which you cannot touch, like mind, like soul, emotions, and there are zahid, outer elements that are visible, like our body. Our body is visible. Our behaviors are visible as well, and those have to be balanced. Those have to be congruent in order for you to attain healthy, wellness, healthy and balanced life. So the very essence of human being is trapped in between being pure, supremely noble, capable of reaching our highest potential and perfecting ourselves. And we are also trapped in this very opposite, meaning in hedonistic, self-sabotaging, self-compromising tendencies, which in Islamic healing they call sinning or diseases of the heart, or crooked akhlaq. So, so I hope that helps. Eventually, what it should do for each one of you is that you don't feel guilty anymore. You don't feel that perfection is actually a goal. You are created in that way, and you yourself, at the level of your selfhood, according to this law of opposites, you are attached to yourself. This law of opposites, law of polarity, can also be used in working on your adab. Also, it could be used in a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can choose opposite names from the spectrum of 99 names plus attributes and apply it to your situation. So if you feel sad, if you feel lonely, you're going to choose names which are opposite, meaning they talk about him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being al-Wali, meaning being a protector, being al-Basir, being al-Sami, being all-hearing and all-seeing, everything that you're going through, being present in your life. Now, watch the video about names of Allah and look forward to see upcoming video about virtue and vice, because there are going to be quite few connections there. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to sign to my YouTube channel, Nigeria's Therapy.